Really pleased to welcome our final speaker, Tom Redding. Tom is Head of Digital Content, Digital Entertainment and Games at BBC Worldwide. Digital Entertainment and Games, what a title that is. I was introduced to Tom through another colleague at BBC Worldwide who was actually Director of Comedy, which I think is also a great title. So perhaps as publishers we need to rethink what we call ourselves. Tom's won a range of international awards for online and digital development, and I'm really pleased to have this outsider's perspective, just offering what I think are valuable insights into our industry. So I'll hand over to you, Tom.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to offer that perspective from the BBC, but first and foremost I'd like to find out what you know about our brand and get the energy levels up. So I'm going to start with a quiz in preparation for tonight. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and there are prizes. So the first prize, the way it's going to work is that if you could put your hand up and I'll try and find the fastest person. This is for an Xbox driving game, Forza 4. It is signed by Clarkson, so it's now worthless. But I'm hoping there are some top tier fans here. So this photo, this is our current star in a reasonably priced car. But what is the car? Sir? That's correct. And that's how Clarkson said. Next up is Strictly Come Dancing. This is wonderful Strictly makeup. The question is, who is the new judge? Sir? Correct. Okay, Doctor Who. This is a really easy one, so I want to see a lot of hands, and this is for lots of DVDs. What is he holding in his hand? Oh, this guy with the glasses. Sir with the beard. Yes, indeed. Finally, anyone can get this one right. This is Torchwood. What relation do these letters have to Doctor Who? Sir. Cool, okay. So, I work for BBC Worldwide. We're the commercial arm of the BBC. We're wholly owned by them, and our objective is to drive revenue back to them. I'm very proud to say that over the past 5 years, we've driven £1 billion worth of revenue back into the creative sector, and this is how we do it.
Mrs. Hudson is on.
very cheesy end. So why is digital important to us? Digital opens up new avenues for us to leverage our content into new digital channels, but it also allows us to move into new content creation. There are obvious production efficiencies. It's cheaper to replicate a digital copy than it is to create a warehouse full of DVDs and have stocks that you don't sell. And it opens up the new markets for us. Obviously, some of our traditional markets are depressed right now. The emerging markets and the strengthening markets become very, very good for us to deal with. Obviously, we are a B2C business, but we do, traditionally in our worldwide, we've been B2C, selling our content to other broadcasters worldwide. Digital gives us an opportunity to recreate that relationship with our audience. Also, much like yourselves, if you are publishing a journal every month, that's the only time that you interact with your audience. When we make a TV show, we go out once, it takes a year to make, it may get repeated on Dave 100 million times, but digital gives us an opportunity to interact with them 24/7. Probably the biggest reason actually is that we have to do this. I don't need to give you any more figures about people using digital. I can look around the room and see everyone with iPads. This isn't something that we're looking forward to. This is something that's happening right now. Some of the things like our teenager audience watch our content exclusively online, so we cannot afford not to be on digital. So what I'm going to talk through is a few key points, one of which is very much talking about what Charlie said about unlocking your content and seeking new value from it. Another key trend for our business is freemium. I'm going to talk a bit about that. One of the other things that I've come to from Charlie is getting closer to your users and learning more about them. And finally, how do you do this when you're a small company? Through partnerships. And finally, just a new trend which has been emerging for the last couple of years, which is gamification. So one of the ways in which you can unlock your existing content is to break down your existing content into meaningful chunks and deliver them to the user on the platform in the way that they use that platform. So for us, the TV series is actually a production construct. It's an efficiency. We need to get people together for a period of time to create TV. It's not the way that our users consume it. They consume episodes. And I think that's very much what we were talking about with articles earlier. And breaking this down allows us to create new collections. So on Top Gear, in iTunes, it's pretty much drag and drop. We just take the content, we put it straight on there. The users of iTunes want the content to watch on their TVs or their laptops, whatever, whenever they want. It's convenient. Here they can buy just episodes if they want to, but also we can create new collections. So the top one there is specials. This was not a TV series. This is a collection of content brought together by us, and it is the best-selling content we have. If we break it down further, we can look at the format of the TV show. So for Top Gear, we have the trailer, we have the interviews with the stars, we have car reviews, we have Cool Wall, a star and a reasonably priced car. When we look at you guys with the article, I can see some comparisons around your abstracts and detailed findings, your research methodology. There's no reason why you can't put together a collection of research methodology which can inform a researcher looking to take on similar projects. That seems meaningful to me. So what we get is this. So when we move on to YouTube, people's attention span goes, they want a minute's worth of content, they want 30 seconds worth of content, and we can deliver it by chunking it up. We can deliver more value by categorizing it in a way which is meaningful for them to find it, to share it, and to go on and look at new content. We can create an app for the Cool Wall. People like the Cool Wall, they shout at the TV, say that should be in the fridge, that should be rubbish, and they can do this on their own, and they can share it with their friends. So this is a new piece of value from a new collection. Similarly, they love the Stig. We just take the Stig out of that context, and they can be the Stig and share it with their friends for 69p. But I think this is inherently limiting. So what is much better to do is understand exactly what business you're in. So I believe Top Gear, the brand, isn't a TV show. It's mates, motors, and mucking about with a heavy dose of humour, irreverence, and mischief. This view, this stepping away from your content, from your original content, allows you to go into new products and new territories. So for you, I believe you're in the business of insights, not journals. So the way we've applied this, Facebook is really important for us. It doesn't make us any money, but it gathers our users together and allows them to go on and find new content where we can make money. So at the beginning of the year, in January, we had 9 million users. We said to them, if you can get more people here, we'll blow up a caravan. And we're at 12 million users now. This is what we did. That goes on for about half an hour. So this new view of what we do allows us to move into new products. So online, we don't even make the content anymore. We're now just an aggregator. So we just bring meaningful stuff about mates, motors, and mucking about to our audience. Actually, people send it to us, and then we then show it to everyone else. So here, our relationship then was entirely changed. We do take some of our original content and repackage it. Say car reviews, we go much more in depth with those when we're here. But our relationship with them has changed because the platform has changed and their expectations of it has changed also. When we come to Facebook, it's a social environment. People expect social interaction. So here we're less about telling them what we want them to look at. We tell them what they are looking at, what other people in our community are doing. So the most liked post on Facebook is actually us telling them what their most viewed article on .com is. So here the most powerful thing you've got is a question. On mobile, so this is our Stunt School Revolution mobile game. If you look at the top, it says 12 seconds. That is the play time for one snippet of content on mobile. So they don't want to get immersed in this game, or they don't think they want to get immersed in this game. They want to come and try it out very quickly and then decide if they like it or not. There's no point in holding back the best content for them because they may never get to it. You need to give it them straight away. So here the idea is easy to pick up, difficult to master. Probably the best bit of information for us all is mobile users are more willing to pay for content than they are on desktop. And much of this payment is about speeding up access to content. They want it now, they want it immediately, and we can charge for them to get it quicker. Once you've done this, you can start leveraging your content in lots of different environments. This is a social game not made by us, by someone else. They license our brand into it. We've recreated the studio, and in doing so, we created the TV screens that are in the studio. We feed our YouTube channel into it. It's now a discovery mechanism for our other content, and that makes money for us as well. When we're making a game, we use the right software which allows us to create an app for mobile, and then because it's built in the right kind of software, we chop it up and put it on the web to create discovery for our mobile site and to create revenue from advertising. So one single piece of content, multiple revenue streams. So I think this is it. A move to digital means more than just reversioning. You have to sweat your assets, get as much out of them as you possibly can by breaking them up, making them available meaningfully to the user, but to take a step back and think about what you do, not about the product that you make. This will allow you to open up different media, different platforms, and different users. So this has been a major disruptive change in my industry. The shift to freemium has been enormous. Lots of people are pointing to this economic law. It precedes digital, so take of it what you will, but essentially in a perfectly competitive market, the long-term product price will be the marginal cost of production. The marginal cost of production is how much does it take to build one more copy. In digital is zero. The more factors pushing us this way, for us it's piracy. If people are taking our content for free, we can stymie that by offering it for free in the first place and creating new value from it. Obviously you've got different factors. I'm not likening open access to piracy, however they have a similar effect on the way that you're going to have to do business. So we have freemium, which essentially means part of your offer is free, and then you charge a premium for a more advanced service. It also means that the vast majority of your audience will not be paying for anything, and you will make most of your money from, say, 10 or 20%. So this is how it worked for us. So these were our apps before we went free. So we knew if we sold a copy of this, we'd get some money. And they did well. This was good performance for us based on the investment we made. But when we went free, that happened. It absolutely dwarfed the amount of downloads we had, and the revenue figures look very similar. So just by capturing a larger audience, you can work out how to make some money from them pretty quickly. And we're seeing this like just rage through the industry. So in June 2010, the free apps were 7% of the marketplace, and this is top grossing, the ones that are making the most money, 7%. 2 years later, we're almost at 70%. So how will freemium work for you? So the way, the things that you have to make freemium work is a large addressable audience. I believe you have that. You've got 25 million knowledge workers that you can get to. You need to be able to deliver a free offer with value to the customer. I think you have an abstract. That's a good molecular thing to work with. You can add values. I'm going to show a few ways where I believe that you can do this. But you really have to get hold of the analytics here, and we've heard a lot about that, and I cannot stress enough how important this is. I don't know, it depends on the size of your company whether you build this, but you do need to learn about it, maybe, but you also partner with people to help you produce it. Optimize conversion funnels. So you need to be able to get people from free to paid. That is a science. That is something that people have expertise in these days, and they cost a lot of money, but it's something that you need to start learning about. So what could you do? So I had a look at what you currently offer. I believe that you could just give the abstract away for free. This would satisfy some of the open access goals, and then the full version you charge a premium for. Maybe you give 3 articles away to one user, and then if they want more, they have to pay, or maybe they have to pay for a collection. Maybe it's on the user basis. You charge for the first 3 users in the library, they have to pay for more users. Free trial period. Maybe they read the article for free, but if they want to print it, download it, share it, annotate it, then they have to pay. So all of these things are brilliant because it says, I'm so confident of my product that I will show you how good it is, and then you'll want to give me money. And I think this is a really compelling offer in your business. One thing that when people talk about this, and I know it has been talked about in your industry, is people don't discuss this because it's kind of the nasty secret of freemium, is that if 10% of your audience are paying for the rest of them, it's probably the same amount again who are paying for them as well. So the thing to learn here is, in this scenario, 13% of paying users are providing 50% of your total revenue. You have to know this to understand that it's no good that you offer products which with a maximum value of £100 or £1,000 or £10,000. You have to create products which cater to this audience and allows them to spend that money. So, getting to know your audience. The Top Gear guys are very, very proud to tell us that the TV show has 50% female audience. So we would be forgiven for creating digital content which caters to that audience. But when we actually go off and talk to them in more detail and find out the facts behind these stats, we find a different picture.
I'm not interested in cars at all, really, but I have watched Top Gear before. I used to watch it with my brother, and I used to watch it with my husband, but it's more a case of they were watching it, so I was watching it. Better than it used to be, of like the nuts and bolts of how a car runs and stuff. I couldn't have given a monkey's about that. So because of the new, more entertaining way that they have it, I am more interested. Makes it funner, more fun.
So there's no point in trying to market an app to her, but she might buy some DVDs for her boyfriend. She may even take him to the live show. So just understanding these things is paramount to the new product horizon. Okay, so it doesn't have to. That's an expensive way of doing things. You don't have to go off and talk to your audience directly. Obviously, we've seen the analytics tools that are available. Google Analytics is so powerful and it's free. Here we're seeing exactly where our audience is coming from, which platforms are they arriving to our site from. This completely informs our marketing budget. This informs our content strategy. So this simple application of analytics is incredibly important to our business. As is data-driven design, we no longer go with a producer's hunch. Every decision that we make about new products is because of the data that we've had back from the audience. One example is, this is the product usage of one of our games. So you can see a natural drop-off of people not enjoying it. It's kind of natural. You're not going to cater to everyone. But here, we can see it's a much larger drop-off. And we were like, what is happening here? So we went and looked at the forums, message boards, Facebook. It just turns out they didn't know that they needed a certain item in order to jump the crevasse. We changed it. We updated the messaging in the game, and it completely transformed the game. From there on in, they carried on playing the game, and our revenues went up. Here this is a Twitter sentiment tracker. So this is just not just about people watching our show. This is what they're saying about it, whether they like it or not. What are the key aspects that they're talking about? If they're talking about key aspects, then we can talk about them too. Say, oh, you like that part, maybe you want to see more of this, and this is a free tool. This helps us tailor our products. It's the difference between creating a 60-minute or 30-minute news show for BBC One and a 60-second news show for BBC Three. So very much talking about what you guys have been saying. There's no point in tracking this data if you don't know what you're looking for from the outset. You've got to set your KPIs, and not just set the KPIs, but try and dive into what are the elements which are going to affect those KPIs. Is it user acquisition? Is it marketing? You just need to know this from the outset. The product begins at launch. There's no point in budgeting for products up to the day that they go live, because then you've got all of these analytics and can't do anything about it. No battle plan survives first contact with the enemy. Be prepared to get it wrong. So Leon said to me, how do I make this relevant for SMEs? I am not expecting everyone in this room to run off and develop their own platforms, their analytics systems. These platforms, it's amazing, but some of them weren't around 10 years ago. In fact, all of them weren't around 10 years ago. A new provider pops up every 2 minutes. We cannot be across all of them, but we have a strategy for dealing with it, and it's usually around this. Every time a new platform comes up, a new innovative startup goes, we understand this platform, we can do this stuff, and we partner with these guys and have a strategy around, let's test it out, let's work with you, let's engage early and know what we're trying to get out of it. I believe that you guys can do this. I'm looking around your industry and seeing guys like Semantica, Mendeley, who are already doing this. Have a strategy, try some of your products out. Maybe you're unlocking the archive, maybe it's a new journal, maybe it's a one-off, but just try this stuff. The worst thing you can do is just put your fingers in your ears. And if this is all pretty scary, it's horribly scary for us in broadcasting, but this is true regardless of whether it's digital. If you're making the best content, you will still get the users. Okay, so this is my final bit. This has been around for a couple of years now, so it's a horrible word, gamification, but actually it's got some wonderful applications. Essentially, it's taking the thinking and mechanics of games and applying them to things which aren't games. This is a really great, fun clip. Level up! So that's cool. It's a Polo sponsored that one, but the principle is the same. Can we introduce fun into menial tasks in order to make them more interesting? Some of the tropes of gaming make digital products easier to use. So some of the things which are great about games, in games you know what you need to do. You know what the overall goal is, whether it's to kill the end of the level baddie, it's to jump the crevasse, you know it, and it's explained to you very, very simply. You also know what you need to do next. The smallest iota thing, the smallest little asset that you need to do, you're aware of it from the outset. And you're aware of how that relates to the overall goal that you have to do. So sorry, I should explain, this is a crowdsourced localization of Twitter, so the UI elements and error message, Twitter created a game out of it. You have a clear status, you know where you are in the social standing, you know which level you are, and you know what you need to do to get to your next level. And all of the time you're getting massive amounts of feedback. If you've ever played Bejeweled or Shoot 'em Up or anything, you know that the screen is just full of feedback, reinforcing positive actions and undermining negative actions. One of the things that game designers agonize is matching the skill level required, matching your skill level to the challenge that you have. So they basically take into account that as you use the product, you're going to get better at it. If it continues to stay the same, you'll get bored. And this has been compounded by a positive psychology researcher called Hailey Csikszentmihalyi, and he basically says that there is this state called flow where you're completely immersed in a task, and it's a very happy state and you're not aware of the world around you. In order to achieve this state, your skill has to be perfectly matched to the difficulty levels. If the difficulty level goes too high, you become anxious. If it goes too low, you get bored. So this is something that games are brilliant at. I think one more, social value. So I couldn't care less if I'm level 4 if no one else knows about it. But if I've got a friend who's level 11, I want to get to level 5. I want to get there very quick. So games leverage this fact very well. So that's a very whistle-stop tour. If you're really interested in this, there's a guy called Sebastian Turding who blogs at Coding Conduct. You should have a look at him. He's brilliant. There's some fantastic applications. But one of the best I've seen, and this is more actually a game in science than it is gamification, is this one.
For Mashable, I'm Lauren Goris. DARPA enlists the help of online gamers to find better treatments for sepsis, a type of blood infection. The research is made possible by a crowdsourced science puzzle game called Fold It. DARPA's custom puzzle asks gamers to create proteins that can better bind to pathogens in the blood. These power proteins would rid the blood of the sepsis-causing pathogens. Potentially the best part of DARPA's crowdsourced research is anyone has the chance to play. The Fold It game simplifies complicated science jargon into fun and games. The idea is fairly tangible: repackage proteins into the smallest and most efficient size. Once a protein is stabilized, you can move on to the next level. Experienced Fold It players can go for the grand challenge, which will potentially aid DARPA in creating its own proteins to fight infections. With thousands of players using Fold It daily, DARPA hopes to accelerate new research into better treatments for sepsis, which affects thousands of U.S. service members each year and often leads to death. To find out more or to start solving puzzles, visit darpa.mil or fold.it. For Mashable, I'm Lauren Goris.
Thank you very much for listening. It's been a pleasure.